We are entering a new phase of enterprise software, not just automation, but autonomy. And one of the first places this shows up in a very real way is in how we test AI agents. Hello, I'm David Brooks. I've spent most of my career helping companies build and deliver enterprise software platforms, which is what led me to start thinking about how AI will change the software lifecycle. Every major enterprise platform is now deploying AI agents. Salesforce Agentforce is a great example of this shift, bringing AI directly into core business workflows. But as companies begin deploying these agents at scale, they're running into a fundamental issue. Testing AI agents is not the same as testing software. Traditional QA was built for deterministic systems. You define an input, you expect a specific output, and you validate that output precisely. AI agents don't behave that way. They are probabilistic. They operate across multiple systems, and they adapt based on context, which means the old model of expected result equals exact match simply doesn't hold anymore. What I like about the Copado perspective is that it's grounded in real deployments. They've identified 5 very practical challenges that teams are already facing. First, validating response accuracy, not just correctness, but relevance and meaning. Second, verifying complex integration flows across Salesforce and external systems. Third, enforcing security boundaries in a dynamic AI-driven context. Fourth, ensuring performance under load where AI introduces new latency patterns. And finally, managing escalation when the agent hands off to a human. Their key insight here is important. You are no longer just testing code. You are testing behavior across a business process. As organizations adopt the autonomous SDLC, this leads to a deeper shift. In traditional systems, we test logic and outputs. In AI systems, we have to test intent and outcomes. When a customer says, "Cancel my subscription," we're not validating a string response. We're validating that the system understands the request, executes the correct workflow, and delivers the right business result. That's a fundamentally different testing model. AI agents don't operate in isolation. They trigger workflows, update records, call an API, and interact with multiple systems. So the unit of testing is no longer a function or a component. It's the entire business process, from request to outcome, which dramatically expands both the scope and complexity of testing. What we're seeing, and what Copado highlights, is a move toward continuous testing. Testing that is embedded into the life cycle and constantly validating behavior as systems evolve. But what's really emerging is a multi-layered model, validating prompts, understanding intent, executing actions, verifying workflows, and confirming business outcomes. This aligns closely with where the industry is heading. But here's the hard truth. AI introduces effectively infinite variability, infinite inputs, infinite conversation paths, infinite edge cases. In a traditional system, you can enumerate test scenarios. In an AI system, you can't. Which means the idea that humans can manually design and maintain all tests simply doesn't scale anymore. This is where the next shift happens. The future of testing AI systems is AI systems testing themselves. Autonomous testing agents can generate scenarios, evaluate semantic correctness, monitor regressions, and continuously validate intent fulfillment. We move from manual QA to autonomous QA. Copado is already moving strongly in this direction. Their approach combines AI-assisted execution, integration into DevOps pipelines, and end-to-end validation across business workflows. And importantly, they recognize that testing needs to be continuous, not a one-time gate before release. This is a meaningful step forward for the industry and real leadership. It reflects a shift from static testing to adaptive, system-level validation. The next step in that evolution is making intent the foundation of the system. In autonomous software, we define intent explicitly. What the system is supposed to achieve at a business level. That intent becomes the blueprint for development, the basis for testing, and the anchor for governance. So instead of testing whether code behaves correctly, we continuously validate whether the system is fulfilling its intended purpose. It's not a replacement for what tools like Copado are doing. It's the logical next layer that makes those systems even more powerful. This leads to a broader transformation of the software lifecycle. Instead of develop, test, deploy, we move to define intent, build autonomously, test autonomously, and operate continuously. Testing is no longer a phase, it becomes a continuous validation loop that runs alongside the system at all times. For executives, the implication is clear. If you are deploying AI agents, you are also taking on a fundamentally new testing problem. And solving that requires evolving your QA strategy, your DevOps model, and your governance approach. Because without that evolution, AI systems will behave unpredictably in production. Over the next few years, every enterprise will run AI agents across the business. And those agents will be supported and validated by autonomous systems. This is not a tooling shift. It's a structural change in how software is built, tested, and operated. If you want to understand how this transformation unfolds and how to prepare your organization for it, I cover this in detail in my book, Autonomous Software. It's about building the next generation of enterprise systems where intent, automation, and intelligence come together. Thanks for watching.